So the time has come for me to build my very first PC. Out of a case from 12 years ago. This one here is new old stock. It's the Corsair Obsidian 750D case. There's a reason why I chose this one, and I've had this thing sitting in my shed for 5 years now. Purchased it in 2020. It actually was released in December the 1st of 2019, so this is one of the later revisions before they stopped making it. The reason why I bought this case is the ability to put a bunch of hard drives in it. Now, I could have went with a newer case, you know, with glass all the way around like everybody's fish tank. I don't want to do that. I wanted to actually have drive slots just in case I want to put a CD drive in here and a bunch of hard drives and whatnot and all that wonderful stuff. So options is why I bought this case. So I have opened this thing up multiple times just to look at what I wanted to put in here. Now, I'm not going to put the best of everything in here. It's going to be just whatever budget type of stuff.
So I thought I'd show a bit of the Corsair Obsidian 750D case and the hardware that I chose before continuing this video. As I stated, I bought this case for the features and not the looks. Although a case that's from 2014 still looks damn good. I bought this case on July 3rd of 2020 and it sat in my shed waiting for the right time to build from it. The goals were more hard drives, more PCI Express slots, and options to add a CD drive. This case is perfect for my needs. So this is the other stuff that I bought. I bought the MSI Pro B760p Wi-Fi DDR5 motherboard. I know this motherboard is the B series and not the Z series, but I'm not going to overclock the CPUs, so that's totally fine with me. And it's the Gen 4, not the Gen 5, so I'm well aware of that. I've seen posts with people saying it's not a good idea to put the i7-14900K into this motherboard, as the VRMs might not handle it. So I went with this instead. I bought the i7-14700K, which at this point, anything's better than the i7-3930K that I've been using for years. I'm glad I waited a bit for all the Intel 13 and 14th gen microcode patches to get resolved before using this CPU. Sure, I could have went with AMD, but I'd rather go with Intel for this build. Since this motherboard does not have NVMe heatsinks, but the DDR4 version does, I had to buy the 2TB Samsung 990 Pro with heatsink. For the RAM, I got the 32GB 16x2 Corsair Vengeance DDR5 at 6000 MHz. Timing is 30, 36, 36, and 76. To cool off that CPU, I bought the NZXT Kraken 360. This is not the elite version with the circular screen and the better resolution, but still pretty good. As of editing this video, I can say the screen looks really crisp, and you can only see that it's a square display if you look at it on an angle. I was going to go with 0 RGB on this build, but things changed. I was looking at Facebook Marketplace and the team was selling the NZXT F120 RGB Duo fans with the controller for $50 Canadian. And the best part, it's new and not used. So a really great deal. He did destroy the box, but nothing that tape can't fix. I purchased the PCIe to 10 SATA port card, so that way I can add more hard drives, as this PC case can have a lot more, and the motherboard only has 4 SATA ports. Since I needed more USB ports, I bought the USB 3.2 Gen PCIe to USB card. See, I'm making use of all these PCI ports already. To power it all, I got the full modular ATX Corsair RM1000X. And yes, this is extremely overkill for this build, I know. But it leaves room for when I want to buy a new GPU and extra drives or whatever in the future. Makes sense, doesn't it, huh?
Eventually I'm going to upgrade the GPU. Right at the moment I'm just going to use my GTX 1080 PNY. It'll do me for now until I find something I want to stick in here, which would probably be a 5070. There's one I was looking at that would just fit. So it's been a long time since I've had a new PC, and as you can see, I'm going with an older design, which is totally fine, but I've been using the Alienware Aurora systems since 2009. I've had every single revision of them. I'm currently using the R4 version of the Alienware Aurora. I know so much about them, it's kind of ridiculous, and I'm tired of looking at it. It still works very great for what I want to do, but you know, there's another reason why I wanted to upgrade is because Windows 11 system requirements. You know, I did stick Windows 11 on that PC, but it does run really bad, so it kind of sucks for that. So I decided I might as well just build a new PC. I've had this thing sitting in my shed for some time. I was going to build one 5 years ago, but then I heard DDR5 was coming out, and then I wanted to wait a little bit on that. And I'm glad I waited even a little bit longer because of all the 13th and 14th gen CPU issues, which I found out later after purchasing it. So hopefully that my CPU isn't going to die. So I'm definitely going to be doing an update of the BIOS on this new system. So this is going to be a first time building this, so don't judge me too much, okay? I'm going to try to do as best as I can. All right, so this isn't the best motherboard, of course. There's obviously other ones that are out there, but I'm not going to be overclocking the CPU, so it's fine for what I want. If I find any little tiny issues with this, I am going to mention it. Since I'm a first timer, I know there's a lot of veterans that are out there that just built their PCs, and you know, they skip over all the little tiny simple things that could be annoying because they've done it so many times. But as somebody that is doing it for the first time, if I find something, I'm going to nitpick, and maybe it'll become useful for all the veterans to understand, yeah, that could be an issue with the first time, right? Let's go ahead and pull this one out. Set you right there. Might as well pull everything else out of here. I guess CPU first. Got a bit of weight to it. I thought there's supposed to be arrow on here. Let me look at the CPU. Okay, so the slots are just a little bit slanted to the right. I gotcha. So it will only go in one direction. And there's a little arrow at the bottom there, but yeah, they slide in just fine. Oh, there's a big bow in that. Crazy.
Hello, future me here. I just want to say that I'm editing this video on the new PC, and holy crap is this thing fast. I have noticed that there's some artifacting issues with the video itself. As an example, have a look right here. You see my hands glitched right there. So I hope that this isn't going to show up in the video itself. I am using a new version of PowerDirector 2025 because 2018 does not work on Windows 11. And it actually screwed it up to where I had to reinstall Windows 11. But everything is fixed and everything is hunky-dory, and I just want to say, holy crap, this is fast. Because on the Alienware PC, in order to paste clips here, I'd wait 3 seconds just to do this. Do this, copy and paste, that's another 3 second wait, and then do this, and this, that would be another 3 second wait before it actually do something, and then probably take another like 5 seconds just to save. But this is instant now, so this is really wonderful. Besides the weird glitching here with the hands, I don't know what the deal is with that. Oh, look, it stopped. See that again.
Oh, that part's done.
Kind of did it right there. Oh no, that was just me with the skip. But yeah, I don't know, there's some weird issues. I just wanted to mention that and how fast this thing really is. I'm super surprised, and it's making me love video editing again. I don't have to sit here and wait. Woohoo!
All right, well, that part's done. This can go back in the case. Thought I'd put a little bit of extra light on the motherboard. I know the camera's on the other side of the table. I'll do my Samsung thing first. Let's open it up. Okay, I gotta find the standoff. You're a tiny little guy, so you go right here. It's cute. Now some RAM. One thing I like about this is it actually tells you where you put the RAM. So it's the second and fourth slot. Throw them both in. So that's technically it on this for now. So there is another nitpick with this. I understand that this is the Kraken 360 and not the Elite version. So this will be the smaller resolution squared screen, which is totally fine with me. I don't really care. As long as it's a screen, it's better than no screen, right? I could have paid a little bit extra and got the better one, but it don't matter. My nitpick is what accessories are in this thing. Do these fans tie in together into one connector, or do they got to be individually stuck on a slot of the motherboard or on one of those little controller boards, or what? So I don't know, because it doesn't say anything on the website about it. I can't find any YouTube videos on this exact one about it. I see the colored versions, so I am really dumbfounded. So I really want to know. Let's find out here in a couple seconds. Let's just open this up. What's all in here? You know, I'm not going to use these fans anyways because I got the F20 RGB duos from Facebook Marketplace for 50 bucks, brand new. Some kid opened it up. Must have been really excited to wreck the box. But yeah, they look very new. So I thought I'd stick them on here. But I want to know what's all in here. So we got a book. We got the fans. Okay, so this is what I wanted to know. Is this cable right here? So it does have what I need. They should all connect as one. What's what here? Oh, they're both together. So that goes to the pump. And then from the pump, and I guess that's the fan header. This goes out to the fans of the radiator. And wait a second. So that's the fan and the power. That goes to the fans. What does that one go to? It's a 3-pin. I'd have to look that one up. So I was looking through the book of this Kraken, and I should have picked the RGB version of this instead of the original, because they probably would have had a better connector. So let me explain the issue. Obviously, it's the triple fan thing. I was a little worried about the first time, but the issue that I'm lying on now goes to the USB 2.0 port, which I take it that's to program the screen to do whatever you want, right? So that is definitely needed, and obviously you need pump power and pump control through one of the cables and all that wonderful stuff. Now the problem is with this motherboard is it only has 2 USB ports on it. So there's one already filling, that would be the pump screen, and then since I want RGB, I'll be using this thing with the other fans, right? And it has USB 2.0 on it, and there's only 2 ports here for USB 2.0. So that means that I'm going to actually have to get a splitter. That way I can have both of them sitting on one port, and then the other one, I'll eventually then be able to connect the USB 2.0 on this. So they'll be disconnected for now. So yeah, I definitely need a splitter. No, I'll do that stuff eventually, but it's okay if these 2 ports aren't working for now. I'll have USB 3.0 in the meantime.
Future me here, just letting you know that I did purchase those cables, but through the video you hear me complain that I don't have them.
So my next concern is, does this thing actually have, okay, it does have paste on it, so I don't have to use my paste. There is one other main concern that I have with this build. I talked to MSI, what was it? I think it was in March, something like that. I sent them a message in their live chat, and then I asked them if this board was updated to run the 14th gen CPUs out of the box. And they said this one was from January of 2025, and they said that most likely has the BIOS update to at least run it. That way I can update it. If it doesn't, then I'm going to be pretty peeved. But yeah, since I only have a 14th gen, so I'll have to find out when I put it all together whether this thing posts or not. Hopefully it does, and it actually has a update, that way I can get to the BIOS and update the BIOS. Alright, so I need the 1700 socket. That would be these. Take it U, and that would be for the fans. This is, I don't know what these ones are for. Figure it out. Assuming you go on the back. If you're unsure about something, make sure you take a look at the instructions, because it may actually tell you what you were looking for. Okay, I don't care about the power. I already know that USB 2.0 is an issue. I'm gonna have to I want pretty fans or USB ports in the front. I want pretty fans for now, so I don't have to worry about that. What I care about is mounting. Okay, here's the okay, so there's the standoff. So this thing goes on the back side. Okay, so the standoffs go there. Okay, that makes sense. I got what I need. So yeah, this goes on the back side for sure. I like writing facing the right way. And we will grab the right screws here. One's in, put the next one in, and then I can move it back over again. I'm just gonna snug them up with my fingers. I don't want to fully tighten them down. That's it for that. My grommets obviously messed up because of the cables that were in there originally, but whatever. And I just want to make sure that these standoffs are in the right locations. I think they are. I'm gonna slowly move it in and out just to double check, make sure, because I don't want to, you know, break anything. So there's 1 and 2 there, 1 up there, and there's 2 right there. Yep, that's right. That's right. That one is right. So that one in the middle right here is perfect. And then the other 2 in the bottom left. Yep. Nothing else is going to get in the way. Nope. Oh, before I put that in, I forgot to put the shield in. Should maybe do that first. Get that done first. Okay, clicks in or what? There we are. The fan's kind of in the way. Is it in? I think so. Find out soon enough. The wire's going to be annoying. It's cracked. That one is cracked. 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 Yep. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. All right. That's good. Yeah, that one's in. That hole lines up. Is there a bit of flex in this? Some flex down here. Why? Yeah, they're aligned. Okay, that's good. So I didn't find a nut for this one here, but I do have an extra standoff. I don't know if it'll work. There's something to keep it down, right? Huh, I guess that doesn't work. So I guess I ain't doing anything with that screw. Okay, let's have a look at the connectors here. USB 3.0, reset switch, hard drive LED, power switch, and power LEDs, okay. HD audio, and USB 2.0. All right, so this one is not going to be connected because obviously I'm going to be using 2 of them up, one for the pump and the other one for the fan lights. So until I find a splitter or figure something else better to do with it, that's not going to be connected. I'll keep that off to the side though, which is not an issue. I could have did that thing after, but whatever, things happen, right? All right, next thing I want to know is the 1000-watt power supply. I'm going to open it up next. And it's the heaviest one out of everything. Cables, power supply. Ooh. Smaller. Oh, what's that smell? It smells like the old style varnish, like paint varnish. What's this? Silent operation at low to moderate loads. In this mode, the fan will not spin. Yeah, I don't mind if the fan spins. I'll have to mess around with that and check it out sometime. So I'm going to put the power supply in. It's not a bad looking power supply. Stick you in. Since I got lots of room right here, I'm going to permanently stick it in because I can just adjust at any time without the need in order to keep it out and wire out everything from the outside and then stick it in after. Just makes more sense this way for me. There we are. All right, now I got to get this up here and try to get these cables in the back. Oh, that's small. Why are these screws that small? Yeah, these things are like midget screws. I don't know what the deal is with that. I thought I'd actually show you the issue that I'm talking about here. As you can tell, this thing's got to be mounted on the top right here. This case actually has rubber grommets on the top. So there's a few here. There's a couple right here. There's some here, all the way across the case. The issue is these little screws, they're really tiny. They're so tiny that if you look, let's stick one in here. Okay. Look where it sits. It doesn't even go down far enough to bite the radiator. So yeah, these things are really tiny. They should have been bigger. So maybe cases have changed, but you know, it'd be fine. I could take the rubber grommets out and they will work, but I'm not doing that. I do have machine screws. These are 1/2 inch length on them. They will work. I just got to cut them down. That way they don't, you know, go through the radiator. There is a bit of play on the radiator though. There's a bit of a gap there, so I can have a little bit of wiggle room. So if you're actually wanting to know the size of these, and as you can see, they will fit in here. They are the exact same machine screws. They're just longer, and obviously they're not black. But yeah, if we're wanting to know the sizes, you'd want to go a little bit downsize of 1/2 inch for length, but yeah, that's the size right there. For anybody else that's using this on this old case, good luck. You're going to have to get machine screws that are long enough, or get rid of the rubber grommets. So what I'm going to do is I already put a mark on one of these screws here to know the length that I want to be. I'm just putting a couple of nuts onto them. That way the vise grabs the nuts and not the actual screw threads or the head of the screw. That way the screw looks all nice and pretty without any issues. I'll just cut that. And I gotta do this another 8 times, or another 7 times I meant. Reason being is I don't want to use all of the screws. It's kind of overkill to have, you know, every single one filled for something so light. It doesn't make sense. But yeah, anyway, let's shorten them up. So the screws are done. They've been all cut to the exact length that I need. So these will actually fit the washer and the rubber grommet and just miss the radiator fins, so that's good. As you see, they're a little bit longer than the original little nubs that they gave you. So yeah, they should literally have screws like this too inside the pack, but they didn't. So I had to cut my own and get them set. That way I can get this thing on this case and I can go from there. Unfortunately, they weren't like that. I'm going to use my marker. I'm just going to mark the heads too, just to make them look darker. That way they don't show through that little mesh on the top as much. But yeah, it's time to put the radiator in now finally. Put some screws here, or a screw for now. Okay. One's in. Okay, there's 2 in now. As you see, it's now up. Woohoo! They just missed the radiator. Yep, not even touching, not touching, not touching. You see that they are through, which is good. All right, well, that's great. Good to know. So I'm over here looking at the instructions, and I'm looking at the 1700 socket. As you can see, that it was already out like this. Then I installed it like that. Then I put the correct standoffs on, which this wiggles weirdly. I guess I can tilt it to the side, but I'll just keep it like that. Then I look over here and I'm thinking, well, maybe these little screw heads should like be spring loaded. That way it puts even pressure on the CPU. I'm not sure about that one, but I looked very closely at this. Look at the socket itself. You see what's on there? That is sitting on the instructions. Maybe somebody thinks, okay, maybe you should put that back on, and then you put that down. Yikes. You can show a picture of a CPU there instead of that. Anyway, I got what I need. And I'm going to install it now. Yeah, I would expect this thing to be spring loaded. Like that wiggles. My CPU better not overheat because of this. It's got thermal paste on it. Okay, it's not wiggling anymore. I don't know how tight to make it. I just want to snug it. As long as it stays and it's firm enough to the CPU, then it should be okay. I've stretched out a lot. At least these move, so I'm happy for that. I'll leave you on for now. I'll do the peeling later. So I'm going to deal with the PC case cables and then the pump and the fan cables. I'm going to route everything and make it all look nice and neat. And then I'm going to deal with the power supply cables and get that all set up to the motherboard and whatnot. I'm not going to bother recording this part. It's just going to be extra work for the video editing. And I don't know how much room's left on this phone to do all that. So I'm just going to get this thing done and I'll show you it after. So most of the wiring is now done in the back. I have all the power for the fans, the RGB all set up, all the connectors down there for the SATA to power it all. CPU and everything is together. I just moved the USB 2.0 header up at the top here temporarily. So obviously those aren't going to work until I get that, you know, whatever I'm going to do with that. I'll figure it out when time comes. But I wanted to, you know, route these wires to go straight and then off to wherever they got to go instead of going off on an angle. But, you know, you can only do so much with the length of the cable. So it looks all right. Not the best. I did put the little antennas on here. One thing I don't like is the back plate there. Should have made it black, but this is a business board, right? It's not a gamer board, but I'll leave the sticker on here for now. Pulling anything off yet, but I do gotta plug in the motherboard cables here yet. I just gotta push them in. This cable is gonna just sit at the bottom right there. But yeah, I try to do as much as I can here for cable management. I got honestly one of the fan headers. That's this fan right here going here. The other bottom one down here is going over to here. I got the HDMI plugged in, both of the USB 2.0s, the only two that's on this board. Power switch, everything, that should all work. The triple radiators all together. I hid the cable back here to make it look as best as I can. Well, not too bad. Next is the GPU. Now, this is a GTX 1080 PNY. It's 8GB version, of course. Don't laugh, but I did put heat sinks on the other side of it. It actually helped out because this backplate gets extremely hot, and when I just stuck those on there, it actually made it less hot. So that's actually quite nice. It's not the best GPU, but it still plays modern games. It is running a 4K screen and three 1080p's at the same time, and I can still play some games. I'm starting to have to put things in medium quality now just to stay at 60 hertz. So it is starting to struggle, but I bet if I was only playing on 1080p with just one screen, this thing would still be doing pretty good. I'm doing a lot with that thing, and also on top of it is doing sub 0.1 surround. So I do have an amplifier and all that stuff. So that is my main sound card. I did set up everything over here temporarily. We're gonna hook the PC up here and give it a test, but first of all I got to get that card in here and power to it. This light's kind of in the way a bit. Let's get this one over here to help. You are probably the one, and then the one under that. Yeah, the one under it. Okay. This card has already experienced a GPU sag, so I got something to fix that. Okay. Just got to get this cable in, get it all set up. Hopefully everything works. That would suck if it doesn't. All right, where the hell's that card? Right there? All right. Make it at least look decent. And this is why I didn't plug this in, because I knew I'd have to deal with this cable. You're good. So has the sag. I'm sorry, GPU. I got to fix for you in a bit. Doesn't look too bad. Hopefully it starts. We'll find out. All right, I'm gonna record everything while I do this. It actually looks really nice. I like it. Even my old GPU looks nice in there. Back a bit. And the mouse, I'll plug you into a USB 2.0. All right, my keyboard, mouse is plugged in. I'll grab my other mouse pad. It's going. I didn't take the sticker off. Let's find out if this works. I'll move you up closer. Looks all right. Motherboard's plugged in. GPU is plugged in. RAM graphics. Yeah, okay. Power. Oh, yeah. Could help if I hit the switch. All right. Power. Probably got a train. Which light needs to go? Turn it off. Back on. All the fans going? Yep. And the green light means what? Boot. There's a keyboard. I don't see anything on the screen though. Maybe because you went to sleep. Oh, where the heck is the button? Button's in the middle. Okay, now it's on HDMI 1. I don't have this thing set to auto, so that's probably why it's black. Why is it turning on and off? The screen's turning on and off. That's weird. Is it the HDMI? Should I try CPU video for now? See if we get anything. Nothing says it's on boot, so obviously it's good there. Nothing. Why? Why is there nothing? Turn you off for a moment. Okay, let's turn you back on and hit F12. Maybe it's just trying to display something that's not there to display. Oh, MSI, I saw it. Mouse doesn't work. It's just sitting right there. One of the lights on this PC case isn't working. Oh no, that's a hard drive light, that's right. Yeah! Okay, so it's F2. Good. MSI BIOS. Stick you in. Does the mouse work now? Oh yeah, the mouse now works. Alright, where is M-Flash right here? Yes, booting M-Flash. Enter flash mode. I stuck it in. Hello, can't you see it? Try a red port. We work in a red port. Do I need to change USB sticks? Don't tell me I gotta format this into something else. I think it's sitting in FAT32. I don't want to try the front. I'll do it anyway. Dumb. Alright. So I'm moving the files over to this PC for now, and then I'm going to try a different format, maybe NTFS instead of FAT32. And if that doesn't work, then obviously it's the USB stick. I'll have to use a different one of my Samsung ones. Yeah, FAT32. Let's change you to NTFS. It doesn't say anywhere in the instructions, as far as I know, about this part. It is a slow stick. It's USB 2.0 stick. I use these things for installing Windows. This changed to NTFS. We'll give that a shot. If that doesn't work, then I have also stuck it onto a proper stick. So we'll see. Oh, hey, now it shows up. So FAT32 does not work in the BIOS. They could have at least wrote that on there. Anyway, that's it right there. Are you sure you want to select this file? Yes, indeed I do. BIOS is updating. Do not turn off the PC and do not unplug the stick. They should fix all the problems of that CPU. Install Windows 11. When I get that all set up, I'm going to then go back into the BIOS and I'm going to set up XMP profile for the RAM. I just want to make sure everything's nicely installed first before I do that. Go from there. Looks like training again. Lights are doing weird things. Okay, so we are back in the BIOS. Taking forever to install Windows on a slow USB 2.0 stick, but hey, it's going, which is great. I had to pull that out and put it back in. I guess I didn't put it in all the way because I couldn't detect the drive. Bummer, but I looked at that and I was like, hey, that doesn't look right. So I'm doing a test with Cinebench right now. It's got 6 minutes and 40 some seconds remaining. Pump is at 90. So it hasn't gotten any higher than 90. Maybe it's thermal throttling. I don't know. Unsure. You guys know more about that than I do. It seems like it's going through that fairly quickly than what it's supposed to do. But we'll see.
So here's a few screenshots of Cinebench R23. Obviously the orange is after XMP and before is the darker orange. I've also added FurMark so you can look at that yourself and you can figure it out from there.
So I did run into an issue with this case and the drive cage itself. I was gonna pull out the drive cage and replace one of my drives because it is failing with an older one that hopefully it's not failing. I need to back it up, but anyway, that's not the point of this clip. The issue that I'm having is when I went to try to pull out this drive cage, it actually got stuck and it would not come out, and I was wondering, why is it not coming out? So I pulled all the drives, unplugged everything, and I found out that this bottom section of this screw here stuck out just enough that it caught this little lip of the drive cage. And if you look carefully, there's some paint rubbed off there. So obviously this screw was rubbing up against that and held the drive cage in place, and so it wouldn't come out. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a washer on the screw, and hopefully that will actually help. That's perfect. Here, I'm going to actually show you what I mean by this. Put the screw in normally. The screws in normally. It won't come out because of that screw. So if I loosen it off just a bit, then it comes right out and goes in easily. Problem solved. Technically, I don't even want this thing on here because it's going to make it even more difficult to clean. It's got some scuff marks on it. Doesn't look too bad though. Good. Looks nice. Do I really want it in here? Not really. We'll do it anyway. Looks alright. I just want to double check, make sure no cables are binding up on the back. No, it looks alright. Yeah, there's one. One's binding up. Okay. This power cable is all messed up now. Looks alright.
So the next part, I want to do a bit of a montage of the GPU stand that I made and just a little bit of the PC itself.
All right, it's time to put the panel on. Hopefully it fits. Should. All right, I want to look at that one last time. Yeah, it looks pretty good. There's going to be a lot more wiring in here when I get more fans and upgrades. Not bad. Oh, would you look at that? There's lots of room in this thing. Okay, well, we won't have to worry about pushing panels. Got fingerprints everywhere though. So we can kind of wipe that up. I'll properly clean that later. Not bad. It's time to put the main panel on. This piece of plastic in the inside. Looks nice. I get rid of all those grubby finger marks. Now I can peel this. And we got one other thing I didn't mention. It's in this box. I might as well put you on this one. And you can sit in that box. Oh, what is that? A broken screw? Chunk of random metal in the bottom of the case. Look at that. Alrighty then. Sure I can't keep those other filters in there? So I wouldn't mind double filtering. I know it's not going to be as great. But if it can go in, that'd be cool. Indeed it does. I don't mind that at all. As long as there's enough airflow. If not, I'll take one filter out and then away she goes. So I thought I'd give you guys a look around on the case. Front I/O. I know this case is old. It's like, what, 12 years old? But if you've never seen it before, with modern parts, now you have. Looks nice. So that screen's actually pretty nice looking. Except for when you look at it on the side, like you really got to look at it on the side. You can see that it's a square. But if you're looking at it straight ahead, it's totally pitch black. And it looks like it belongs. Quality is actually pretty good on it. Fans are nice. And I made my little custom mount at the bottom right there. My GPU. I did add a little block here to try to fix my sag on that GPU. It was literally, this section was literally sagging upwards, and this section up at the top was sagging downwards. And it looked like somebody was just clamping it in the edge right there, so hopefully that will actually correct it. Got some drives. Talking about drives, let's make sure everything works. Should be a bunch of drives showing up now. Oh yeah. And there's a bunch of drives right there. So, a lot of these are going to be removed and I'll buy new ones that are a lot larger than that. So I did one last modification. I added another fan here on the side. Now this is the idea I took from the Aurora because it actually had a fan pointing directly at the GPU, which was a really great idea. And I thought I'd do that too. Also, it helps having another fan here try to pull the air through the drives and go this direction, right? So yeah, there is air here. I can feel it, and then I can also feel it up here, which is great. So that definitely helps pull air from the front and into the case. I don't give a crap if it looks good or not. I didn't tie this to the drive cage, so I can actually pull the drive cage out. It's only just tied up here and on the other side. So this actually moves this way, but I have a tiny little piece of foam at the bottom here to keep it from moving that way, and obviously vibration. I don't have to worry about airflow down here because obviously the power supply is getting air from the bottom and then out that way. So I don't have to worry about that at all. I'll let you actually hear it for yourself if you can. I don't know if you're actually able to hear wind blowing or not.
Future me here, just wanted to mention this before this video gets wrapped up. I actually had to go into the BIOS and change the Intel Turbo Boost to disabled. I went and also changed long duration power limit from the 253 watt auto to 150. I also did the exact same with the short duration power limit. And so far my temperatures have been pretty cool. As you see, it says it's 36 right now, and the GPU is sitting at 47 because obviously I'm doing a little bit of editing. And yeah, this will drop back down to about 30, 39 is usually what the GPU sits at. But I just wanted to change that because the fans kept ramping up and it was getting very annoying, and the CPU would spike to 50 to 70 and then go back down to like 36 and then back up high again, and it was just getting very annoying. I actually thought maybe there's an issue with the thermal paste or a pump problem, but yeah, no, it's just Intel Turbo Boost being an issue. So I did turn that off and everything seems to be hunky-dory. I haven't noticed any performance loss at all, so that's a good sign. Of course, obviously it's not turboing to the 5 gigahertz or whatever it was sitting at, because I did notice it did go over 5 gigahertz when it ended up getting extremely hot, but now it's sitting at its 3 point whatever gigahertz, and I'm fine with it as long as everything's still pretty snappy and I don't have to sit there and listen to fans ramp.
Yeah, I'm glad I got a new system now. I don't have to deal with the Alienware PC anymore. I do still like that PC. It was very stable. This one seems to be pretty stable right now. I haven't had any issues with it. Besides Windows 11 doing its, Windows 11 things. I did have issues when I was installing Windows 11 in the very beginning. This kept showing black screen on the monitor. I actually had to turn the PC off a couple of times just to get through the installer, but it finally went and it seemed to be pretty stable. I had issues with Astroneer trying to get this stupid game to run. I don't know what the deal is with Windows 11 on that, but I went to install the game in the Microsoft Store, and then I went to play it from there, and it just showed the window with the Astroneer logo, a little tiny banner in the middle, and that's all it did, and then eventually just automatically closed. I had to leave out of there and go to the Xbox app and launch it from there, and then it worked. And then after that, it just worked. So I don't know what the deal is with that. My Audacious application lags. That one's a weird one. If you move it, it eventually follows the cursor, and then if you spin it around and leave it like that for a few seconds and then you let go, you can watch it spin around on its own and eventually stop. So that's weird. It didn't do that on Windows 10, but for this system, I did have some issues with it, of course. I did have the screw problems. The screws were short on the radiator. I have the screw issue on one of the fans here for the drive bay getting stuck. Just minor stuff. Obviously, lack of USB 2.0 ports. I'll have to get a splitter for that. Yeah, of course, my power supply is overkill right now for what is in here. It's 1,000 watt, but I got that because that's headroom for a new GPU, so it's set up. I don't have to buy a new power supply for that. Got cute little custom GPU holders. I like them. I got a shop, I can make whatever, right? It's pretty cool. It's nice to get more hard drives in here. I do have, of course, the SSDs in the back, and then that little Samsung thing. I did have an issue with the Samsung thing. The NVMe, I guess I didn't put it in all the way, and I was wondering why it wasn't being detected, and I looked at it as like, Just to get it even further. And yeah, it worked just fine. It's so tiny. I'm used to bigger stuff, but my drives are definitely old. I'm definitely gonna have to upgrade them. But yeah, I like this old case. I know it's old. It's 12 years old. People moved on to fish tanks and other systems now that just have one slot for a drive. But you know, this thing's got potential yet, and I don't know. I guess this is the last known new version, unless somebody else finds another one that's unopened, or they can build a PC in it. But yeah, I'm glad I had a bunch of parts for it. I don't think there's any other issues. It's just besides a couple of screws, something's missing. I do want to get more fans. I want to get matching fans. The top ones there for like the front two sides. I did add another 2 fans in the middle there to help move airflow through. And so far it's working right now. This thing's just sitting there doing nothing, and the GPU's at 70%. CPU's at 52. The GPU on the Alienware would actually be sitting about 80 degrees right now, and it's sitting at 70 on here, so that's actually pretty cool. It helped out. I don't actually have to have a little fan pointing at the computer for that anymore, which is great. When I turn it on, I don't have to listen to fans ramp up all the time. So, you know, I'm thinking like the Alienware PC, that thing kind of gets annoying over that. It's a very stable system, but hey, I'm glad I got a new system. I'm going to stick this thing in the house, and I want to go watch The Expanse. I've been on this thing for 3 days. In between what I wanted to add, moving files, and then having to deal with OneDrive failing today, which literally took, what was it, almost the entire day to back up and clone one drive to another, because yeah, the one drive was starting to fail. I lost 15 gigabytes out of that drive, but hey, at least it's 15 and not the entire drive. I've had many fail, but yeah, that one took up most of the day. But yeah, yeah, GPU, fans, the USB 2.0, new hard drives. I'm also gonna put that's all things I'm gonna upgrade in here. I was gonna put the CD drive in here. I don't think I'm gonna bother with it. If you use a CD drive once in a blue moon, it's not worth putting one in here. Yeah, I can see how video editing works on here now. I am a little concerned by the motherboard heat sinks on there, because when I was doing Cinebench testing, those got really hot, like very hot to touch. So I don't know about that one. Hopefully the fans I stuck in here help with the airflow or keep them cool. We'll see how that goes. But anyway, I'm eventually going to come back to another video on this thing, but in the meantime, I want to go play with it. So hopefully you enjoy the video. Please rate, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Hopefully you enjoy the build, and if I did a good job of it, that's my first build. So yeah, bye-bye.